Okay, anytime you're ready, Tyler, baby.
All right.
Go ahead.
Hi guys, my name's Tyler. I work at the
Look at this bulge. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Actors aren't cheap. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, I'll try. That'll be good.
Ready?
Yes.
Hi guys, my name's Tyler. I work at Dakota Line Snares. Today I'm going to show you how to skin the musquash. Is a fancy name for it. Most commonly known as the muskrat or rat. But yeah, we got four here we'll do. And the first one I'll just kind of show you slow what I'm doing. I'll just kind of speed up. I'm using a Wiebe Skinner. That's the knife I prefer. You could use any knife. I suggest at least a 4-inch blade, but I've seen guys do it with shorter ones too. But this one works really good for me. About every 2 rats or so, I'll just stop and hone that blade up just a little bit. And this is a Wiebe steel. And it's simple as running that knife up and down like that. It's got some good grit on it, and it works really good. So our first rat here, what I'm going to do is how I do it is I roll it on its back, and I stretch his leg out like that. And I put the knife in right along his Achilles tendon, is what I call it, and then it's right on the hairline. And I just go up, and that knife point will stick out right below his tail. And I just lift that knife up. I do the same thing on the other side. I'm just kind of flipping them around to show you a little bit until that knife comes out of the first cut. Then I just lift up like that. It's important to have a sharp knife. These rats will tear real easy. When I get that cut made, I flip him onto his belly, and I pinch this hair right here. And I slip the knife in through the skin or whatever, and then I just make a cut like that. That loosens everything up, and he's all open. Our next thing we do is I hold the tail, and I grab a hold of this, and I just pull up like that. And I'm right-handed. I take my thumb in there, and I just loosen that up around the hips. And then I roll my left hand out so it opens it up like that. I take my thumb and just work it through to the other side. And then I just roll that skin out, and then you can just pop it out like that. Same thing on this side. And he's pretty much all opened up. The next thing we'll do is we'll grab the back here and set him on his butt. And I like to grab their shoulders and squeeze them with my thumb and middle finger. And I got his head in my palm. And I grab this and just push him through. And I've got my hand right on his shoulder still, and I work my hand out and I just put it on his forehead and shove just a little further, and then onto his nose. The next step I'll do is I leave my hand in him, and you can see that the stomach meat and then the hide. And I'll just take my thumb and hold that stomach and then roll my hand like that inside the hide. Then I'll flip them in my hand just like that, and I'll put my thumb on the other side of the skin, and then I just spread that apart, and then you'll be able to see, I don't know if you can see that, but you'll be able to see your glove or finger on the other side. Then I just push my thumb through it with my right hand. Everything's open there. And then I take my right hand and I bring it around and I put it through like that. And I get a good hold of everything, and I just slowly work it up. And I get a hold of everything, the glands and everything like that, and it all just comes off. My next step is I grab the rib cage, and I still have a hold of that, and I just give it a light tug. That'll expose his arms. When you get to their arms, I just go right underneath the elbow and push my thumb through. Then I get a hold of it and pop it through like that. Same thing with this side. Pop it through like that. An easy way to do it is if you have a nail, you can slam them on there. I like to just hold them. I take my hand around their head so it's got pressure on it. Then we're going to hit the ears. Then I give it a light tug down to the eyes. I reposition my hand so I have tension on it. And we got the eyes exposed. Now one thing I used to really fight when I was skinning muskrats was I'd cut and cut and cut, and you just dull a knife. One thing I've learned is if you take the knife and turn it towards the hide, it's not a good habit to get into, but it works really good with muskrats, and just make a small cut like that, it frees everything up real good. The next cut I make is right down at the mouth. I make one cut there and one cut there, and you'll see it exposes that mouth. If you don't do that, you're going to pull a lot of noses off because you start pulling real hard. But as soon as you make them cuts, you can just lightly pull that nose down and then just cut that off. And that's that. We'll go to another one. I'll do this one how I usually do it. I have a towel. You're going to get a little blood. I just wipe it up. I try to do it every time. Keep that blood out of your hair. The reason I get a hold of everything here is you won't rip this off, and that is handy when you're stretching. And they got glands on them, so I get a hold of everything. So I remove glands when I'm fleshing, but you got all that in your hand there. We'll do another one. That's a big wrap. It's important to keep that knife sharp. You'll just fight it and end up stabbing your leg or something. Sometimes what will happen too is you'll rip that membrane on the stomach, and you'll have some entrails you'll have to deal with, and it'll slow you down. But you just got to work around that stuff. If you do it like this, using your thumbs, it'll save you a lot on that. Last wrap here, and so this happens to trap damage. You'll get that. Just do it the same way. You just got to slow down just a little bit. Sometimes they'll catch and you'll rip holes bigger, but if you get a little damage, just slow down. It's worth it. Sometimes if you don't hold them shoulders, it will the front feet will get pushed out and they'll rip the bellies, or they got very sharp toenails. the heads on animals is what dulls knives when you're cutting on that bone, and it's really important to just keep honing them up. And if you don't have a steel, I'd definitely recommend getting one.